Hi there, people. I just wanted to give a wee quick talk before we get to these interactions that I had with some of the students this afternoon. First and foremost, we're looking at the meaning, the definition of what level is. Now, I think it's pretty obvious for anybody with any common sense that you can freely read this for yourself. I really don't have to read it out to anybody. So we understand that a horizontal plane or line with respect to distance above or below a given point. So any decrease or increase in elevation from the initial point would mean that whatever we're looking at or whatever we're constructing is not level. Level in the real world is defined this way, and the natural substance that we find, the natural phenomenon in the real world, the substance that would give us an indication of level would be water. Anyone with any practical knowledge and who has applied that knowledge understands that definition, understands the substance, and that's what it actually means. Okay, so that was the questions, one of the questions put to the students that I interviewed this afternoon. Now, if I move on to here, I tried to look for, as you can see, I'll come back, I typed in level on a sphere. So I don't know what this is really about. It's a very difficult thing. The thing about level on a sphere is true on paper as a mathematical concept. Level in practicality and in the natural world does not mean a curved line. So I had a look at this guy here. I'm not sure who this is, Kerry Knox, or woman, whoever. I have been writing about the meteoric rise of the flat earth phenomena, whatever that means, and my articles are an attempt to answer and rebut their often wild and crazy claims with easy to understand science. This should be interesting. One of them is that they use an argument to incredulity to say that we can't live in a sphere because water is always level, and therefore it cannot curve to conform to the shape of the earth. I will continually assert that. I don't know what science and easy to understand science this person is talking about. They're probably talking about the mathematical definition that is applied on paper, but not in the real world. They make this argument, frankly, to confirm their bias. No, it's not a bias. It's a real world phenomena. You can demonstrate it, you can understand it using the actual substance that you will find in your natural environment. I think anybody out there who is interested in science and scientific progression should know this. You can check this for yourself, people. You don't have to believe me or anybody else. You can observe the phenomena, you can make some predictions, and you can test. But they claim to be making it because they trust their senses and water looks level, therefore it must be. Well, it's not really just about looks level. It is actually level because we utilise and use that understanding. If we build a dam or construct a foundation or any construct, we would use level under the real world understanding of no deviation from the beginning point to the end point, no deviation in elevation. That's what level means in the real applied practical world, not in the world of linguistics. On the globe Earth and in the world of linguistics, they redefine level to be an equal point from the centre of a circle. Okay? And for a start, they don't claim that the Earth's a perfect sphere either. It's actually quite an odd-shaped potato, oblate spheroid. So, they just pick and choose and, make these definitions try and stick to actual, tangible reality when they don't. In reality, level is level. We all know this. This is part of the sophistry that you will come across if you're new to this, maybe. It seems that the senses of our flat earthers are worse than the rest of us, because most of us see not flat water quite frequently in the form of dew, waves and the meniscus in a test tube. These are false equivalencies. This is a body of water which is in motion. Okay? This is a wave. That will collapse again. The body of water will find the equilibrium and the surface will remain as a horizontal plane, equal in elevation in any given point. okay, upon its surface. This very small scale surface tension, adhesion, you know, again, false equivalence. Nobody is claiming we live on a drip, okay? Now, this person needs to collect more of these drips together and see what happens. Here again, a meniscus that only happens in a finite diameter. So within, you know, something like 1.5 inches, you will get this effect. As you increase the diameter of your containment, that will cease to be the case. And in another article, we'll discuss how tides are curved water. Even flat earthers can't deny the existence of tides, blah, blah, blah. So this person goes on to talk about denial and circular reasoning. Flat earthers will not only believe the earth is flat, but they answer the age-old question of why no one falls off the edge through the invention of a 60,000-mile ice wall. So this person here is another person who propagates nonsense propaganda. I am not a flat earther under the term that these people are using. I'm merely an honest investigator of my reality, and what I find in my reality I cannot deny. These people and the proponents of these things only use language. They can never offer up any form of practicality. So they go on here about ice walls and then gravity, you know, something that they don't really fully know. It's a descriptor of the way in which objects fall. Got nothing to do with how water behaves or, you know, establishing the dimensions of the earth. Use of sophistry again here, misrepresentations, red herrings, you know, continual fallacious reasoning on the part of the globe proponent. Fact checking, they repeat what they hear on YouTube videos. Well, I'm here to tell you that I do not go by YouTube videos. I go with my practical reality that I can test. I can put it to you, and then you can then test that. So just a wee quick showing here of level. It's relevant to the interviews that are coming up. Unfortunately, my camera has played up again and I've lost a few of my interactions, so I can only apologise to those people who agreed to speak to me this afternoon. And again, thank you to everyone who I did speak to off and on camera. Very much appreciated for your time, and let's hope that we can get this discussion happening more often and get some of these university lecturers to open up. So enjoy, people. Hi sir, what's your name?
Callum.
Callum, I'm Dale. Thanks very much for stopping and speaking to me, Callum. Callum, I was going to ask you two questions.
Aye.
You know the word level? Can I ask you what your definition or your understanding of that word actually means?
There's a few different definitions of level. Like it can mean even, yep, as in that something's level, or you could be talking about levels, like levels of power or levels in, yep, a video game, I guess.
Yep.
Or it could just be like I said, level could be as in flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a third one, but
yeah, so level, that's the one I was looking for. Aye. In reference to practicality and reality, you know, so level would be equal elevation from one point to the other.
Aye.
Could you then, just to follow that up, could you point to a substance in reality, a natural occurring substance, mm-hmm, that you would maybe utilise to define what something being level would be? It's got to be something natural.
Yeah. If you look at a body of water on a calm day, that's generally what I think is level. Level. Because it's smooth and flat.
Yeah. So would you agree then that water will take the shape of its container, the surface will always form a horizontal equal plane in every direction? If there's a decrease in elevation from one point to the other, the water will flow. Would you agree with that?
Well, it depends, because like if you've got a flat bottom, then the water's going to fill up to that, right?
Yeah.
If you make the bottom not flat, then the water would fill it like that. So it'll still be a level, it might be a different level.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So water is one of the best, you know, levelling tools that we could probably have. You would agree?
I'd say probably.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter the undulations underneath the body of water. It could be rocky, it could be sloped, but in general the body of water is going to be a level plane.
I mean, that's basically any fluid will expand to fit a container.
Will fit a container.
Like, not just water, any fluid.
Any fluid. Well, a liquid, you know, a fluid can be gas or liquid, yeah. So fluids as well, you know, that's the description. It will take the shape of the container. You would agree with that? Can I just ask one other point to that then? what I'm actually, investigating is people are questioning the shape of the Earth right now. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes.
You have heard of it?
I'm aware of this, yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
It's round.
It's round.
It's not flat.
It's not flat. If I go back to what we just discussed about the water and the Earth, they will claim the Earth's 71% water. And what we've just discussed, that's a natural occurring phenomena. It's a naturally occurring phenomena that I can make a prediction on.
Are you trying to trick me into saying that the Earth's flat?
No, not at all, sir. Not at all.
Just checking.
I'm just wanting an honest response from the general populace, in particular the university.
Yeah.
What I've been trying to do is to encourage the university to maybe open up and have an open discussion about this, because it's growing and there's an ever-increasing trend of people who are questioning it. And there is a lot of valid points to be looked at.
Sorry, but all I'm going to say is that you do realise that the start of the whole flat Earth discussion was as a theoretical exercise between a debate team in defending an obviously undefendable point, right?
Right. What about the ancient cosmologies that went before that?
The ancient cosmologies?
Which all depicted the Earth as... Well, a lot of the ancient cosmologies depicted the Earth as a plane.
Yeah.
They never depicted it as a ball.
Yeah, and ancient medicine said that you should use leeches to bleed out your humours for all sorts of things. Science Francis.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to establish here is...
That's a lot more than 2 questions.
Yeah, sorry, if you want, I don't want to keep you, sir. It's progressed into that, just to let you know what it was about.
Okay.
So we're just trying to see, and if I say this to you, science, if it's an objective thing and it's an objective fact, do you think it needs to be defended by propaganda? Do you think that if something is factually correct, it should be open to investigation and open to inquiry?
Yeah, the whole point of science is you investigate things factually, and if you can't disprove it, then it's true.
Exactly. So what about that then? If I says to you, I've observed a natural phenomena, which is water, I've observed its behaviour, I've made predictions on its behaviour, I've then taken those predictions and applied it to a rigorous test, and I've changed certain variables within the test, like the containment, the temperature, the undulations underneath, and 100% of the time it comes back with the same physical traits, that it will take the shape of its container and the surface always equilibrates. It's always a horizontal surface. That's a physical fact. The only thing...
Yes, in that small container, yes.
Well, is there a scale that you would think it would change?
What would remind you is that even in science, like, nobody is perfect, nobody knows everything.
Yep.
And part of the scientific process is peer review, letting other people who have different perspectives, maybe different knowledge, maybe different opinions, look and see.
That's what I was asking you about. So if there is other people who are having different options and looking at things in differently, do you think it would be beneficial for the universities, the scientific community, to actually open up honestly and let this inquiry happen?
Yes, except it's already happened and it's being inquired from several angles, and the consensus is basically, no, it's not flat. Okay,
so it's a consensus then. What? So if I ask you...
Well, not consensus, like not universal consensus. Obviously, people are allowed to believe what they want to believe.
Yep.
But the general, as much of a consensus as you ever get in science, seems to agree that the evidence points towards the Earth not being flat.
Yeah. So can I ask you on a personal level, not an appeal to authority or an appeal to consensus, I take it that you subscribe to an understanding that the Earth is a sphere? You subscribe to that. Can I ask you then, through your own experience and your own practical references, could you give me something that would suggest to you that the Earth was indeed a sphere? Just on your own experience.
Let me see here, how to word this. No, but I don't have but I also don't have evidence that it's flat.
Yeah.
So, given that the general scientific community, which is mostly people that I accept are smarter than me, know more about this shit than me, study this shit for their living.
Yeah.
If the vast majority of them are agreeing it's round, I'm willing to take that as evidence.
Okay, so that's the root of what I'm trying to get at, is to try and get to the reasoning processes behind why people believe them. So what you've stated is that you're happy to follow a consensus, but you've never really understood it fully yourself, and you've never...
What I said.
Oh, sorry, I thought that's what you said. Sorry, sir. I'm not trying to misrepresent you. Maybe I've just misunderstood what you said there.
I'll be honest, I'm a little bit like... I'm not meaning to throw aspersions at your character, but I'm a little bit suspicious because it sounds like you're trying to bait me into supporting flat earth theory and you've got a camera.
No, not at all, sir.
I know that's not what you're...
Yeah.
You're saying that that's not the case,
but...
Yeah.
What I've been asking is the reasoning processes.
Yeah.
So I was just, as I was asking you, if in your experience, and you know, you've stated that there's people that you consider smarter than yourself who have figured this stuff out. It's then been passed through an education system that you've been taught these teachings, and that's what you've learned. So that would be an honest representation of your understanding.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So it's entirely possible that I could have been taught the wrong things.
Yes. Excellent, sir. That was absolutely fantastic.
It's possible that I could have been taught the wrong things, but given how many people agree that no, this is how, like, I have done some looking into this myself out of curiosity, because obviously it's such a big thing.
Yeah.
Why are so many people arguing
why is
opinions?
Exactly.
I have done some looking into it myself, because I say there's people smarter than me. I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not stupid.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
And I understood enough of what was going on to be sort of satisfied that yes, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I understand that.
So it does make sense to you. So,
that the earth is round, yes.
So in natural science, do you think it's important that individual human beings adopt a knowing and an understanding of the natural sciences so that they can then discern the reality for themselves?
I think it would be good if more people questioned what other people are telling them.
Yeah.
Like in general.
Yeah. Excellent. Fantastic, sir. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak to me. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, buddy. What I'm just going to add here is that the wee bit of conversation that we just had, and you were asking me about what I subscribe to, and I explained to you that, you know, I'm interested in, you know, natural philosophy, taking things on, you know, practical reference.
Believing in your perceptions.
And what I can measure and quantify for myself.
Which is right.
Which is correct. So we switched the camera back on because you said you'd thought of something.
Yeah. The moon. The phases of the moon.
Yeah.
Because what causes the phases of the moon is the alignment of the Earth, Moon and Sun.
Yeah.
And obviously when you look at the moon, when you see, for example, a crescent moon, that's because of the Earth's shadow being cast onto the moon.
Yeah.
Which would suggest to me in a small way that it's round. Obviously that's not infallible. If you believed that the Earth was a disc, then the edge of it could... But then that would...
You know, I agree, you know, that what you've just stated is what was taught to me as well. Through further investigation, you know, there's certain assumptions have to be made about these luminaries and what they actually are. I also have to place faith that a group of an institution called NASA, you know, actually placed physical human beings on a physical rock. But I have real issue with that. One of my real issues and problems with that is that, again, when I come back to my practicality, physical reality tells me that in order to have a gaseous pressure in a medium like a vacuum, I must have a solid membrane between those two pressure systems. So that's, for me, that's natural law. You know, high pressure will move to low pressure 100% of the time. If I have a medium that's a vacuum and I want to create a pressure within that vacuum, I must have a containment within that vacuum, or the pressure will equilibrate. So when I look at natural law and you know, natural aspects of my reality, that's contradicting the story that these people have told me. Now because they're saying that space is a vacuum, and that the Earth's a pressurised environment that's adjacent to the vacuum and no solid barrier between the two of them.
Space isn't a complete vacuum though.
But it is, I mean, it's
low enough density. Low enough density that it's effectively a vacuum, but not a complete vacuum. And to be honest, the physics behind it is a bit more complicated than I think either you or I could get into right now.
Yeah, because it's explanatory physics. It's an explanation. It's not a practical. Like if I asked you right now, could you get me make a vacuum and then show me how you could maintain a pressurised rock, say, maintain an air pressure around a rock within a vacuum without that medium?
That's because of Earth's gravity keeping the atmosphere close to it though.
Yeah.
Earth's gravitational field.
So in your understanding, what is gravity?
This is getting kind of off topic. You just turned it back on so I can give you a bit of evidence.
We'll just cut it there, sir, because you gave me your point and that was fine. The initial portion of this was exactly what I was looking for. It was an honest response to, you know, the reasons why people take things to be true, and that's pretty much what I was trying to capture.
Yeah, I do think that again it's actually, what time is it? I'm running late.
No worries, sir. Again, thank you very much.
No worries.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Take care. Sorry, sir. What's your name? Sorry.
James.
James. I'm Dale. James, how are you doing? You all right? James, what I'm asking. Oh, sorry. I'm asking just a couple of words. I'm going to say the word level to you. Could you give me your definition of what that word actually means?
Level.
Level.
Like a tier.
you know, like.
What, levels as in late levels?
Yeah, I don't know a strict definition. Like a tier as in TIER, so yeah, levels, like.
What about in regards to maybe construction?
Or like on a
like a video game,
a discrete level,
moving up the levels. Yeah, that's one definition. What about in regards to like construction? You know, like level being equal elevation from one point to the other point. Do you understand that as a description of level as well?
Yeah.
You do understand that? If I asked you to go to the natural world, is there a substance in the natural world that you could point to that would denote level?
A substance.
Yeah.
Like a real,
just a natural substance, a naturally occurring substance.
That would. Like, what I think of him straight away is probably just something like atoms, or does that make sense?
No. That's kind of theoretical physics. I'm looking for real world natural phenomena. So I don't want to put words in your mouth because that would spoil it. So if I'm trying to level something and I want to use a natural substance, you know, something that I could like a fluid, a liquid.
Yeah.
Would you say water would be a useful tool for?
As in, like, in the way that you can even something out.
Even something out, yeah. Okay. Just to find the level of something.
That's water would.
Water would be.
Yeah.
No, because I've put that into your vocabulary.
No. That makes, that's what water does to matter.
So that's your physical understanding then of that natural substance, is that if I described it as this, it takes the shape of the container. The surface will always form a horizontal equal plane in every given direction.
Yeah.
You would agree that's your experience of reality then?
Yeah.
Yep. So the crux of this then, sort of, is what I'm investigating, right, is that there's an ever-increasing number of people who are questioning the dimensions of the Earth. Have you heard about this? People are asking questions about the shape of the Earth.
Oh, like flat Earth?
Flat Earth, concave Earth, globe Earth. There seems to be an ever-increasing amount of people who are curious and having, you know, debates and discussions about this. And I'm one of these people. What I'm trying to establish is to get an open investigation from, like, universities, scientific communities, to open up their doors and look at this properly, so that we can put it to bed and we can have a proper understanding of what the physical realm actually is. Would you think that's, you know, feasible? Do you think that should happen?
That should happen.
It should happen?
Like, to me, I'd say that the data already implies or express, like pretty much just
that it's a ball.
Proves that it's spherical, or like not perfectly spherical. But
can I gather just a wee bit of information on that then? And I want to remove authority and I want to remove consensus. Mm-hmm. If you were to state to me that the Earth was an oblate sphere, as they officially call it, can you point to something in your experience of your life that would suggest to you that the Earth is actually a sphere?
I'd just give you the normal arguments that you've heard already, like horizon shape. And
you think the horizon's got a curve to it?
From a high enough vantage point.
Yeah. And what's your understanding of the height that would have to be? Do you know?
I don't know specifically, but I mean, even on sea level, if I've been somewhere like on the coast, I'd say that I could see it.
You think you can see it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying think because official narratives would say that it's impossible for you to see any curvature at that altitude. They'll say you have to be at least 80,000 feet high before you start to discern any proper curvature. Can I ask you, are you a student in the university?
University of Strathclyde.
University of Strathclyde. Can I ask you what you studied?
I studied physics.
Physics?
A few years ago. Now I'm studying ultrasound engineering.
Do you know, you ever heard of Euclid of Alexandria?
Yeah.
Do you understand his axioms in his book, and where he took these axioms from and how we actually apply that in the real world, as in Euclidean plane geometry? Do you understand that? Do you know that we apply it in pretty much every aspect of daily living? Well, my understanding of that is that it doesn't work on a curved surface. So if we're using Euclidean plane principles in practical reality from construction, navigation and various walks of life, how would that then apply to a curved surface?
Well, I think a lot of what he talked about would be, like, if you are on a large enough plane that is spherical, essentially you're dealing with flatness on like a microcosmic scale.
Can you have a plane that's spherical though? I mean, it's a bit an oxymoron, is it not? I mean, to see a plane with a curve It can't be plain geometry then.
You're on a spherical surface.
Yeah.
But in terms of like a microcosmic level, like say a few hundred meters or what you deal with in everyday life, would be essentially flat. Like, it's not mathematically flat, but so flat that like.
Do you think there's a possibility that the curvature's mathematical and it's not actually physical? Have you ever considered that? Have you ever gave it any real thought to the that might not be what's been taught to you?
I'd say that my opinion of it is just that I can't think of a good enough reason that these things I'd be given a mistruth anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Human beings have a propensity to tell lies, though. If people were invested in a particular narrative and they maybe discovered something that was, contradictory to that, they may disguise it and push on. The crux is for somebody like me, I find contradictions in my physical reality to this image that they present to me on the TV screen. So what I'm trying to get at the root of is, are people throwing out physical, actual, practical referenced physics because of this image? Because for me, this image has a theoretical explanatory physics to it, when natural physics and natural phenomena, dictate and show me that it's impossible for there to be a curvature, based purely on a couple of examples that I gave you, like how water behaves, and then the fact that we apply Euclidean plane principles to our everyday living. These two things are contrary to, a curved earth for me. So I think there's grounds to have a proper investigation into that. People are investing faith, I think, in this image on the screen, and they're buying into the explanations of what are being offered, rather than turning their attention to their own experience of reality and what you and I can verify between each other. Like if I make a prediction on a natural phenomena like liquid water, I can predict its behaviour. I can then set up experimentation to verify or falsify my predictions. And when I make those predictions and I set up the tests, follow the scientific method, the tests are coming back positive that the water does take the shape of the container. It doesn't have the elasticity to display convexity upon its surface. You can't bend it in any way, shape or form. It has no form. It can't withstand shear stress. I mean, these are fundamental facts that are contradicting this image. Is what I'm saying to you maybe triggering, the possibility that you think that should be looked at?
I don't have a problem with people looking into it.
Yeah.
Personally, for me.
Anything I've said to you, is it triggering any kind of, thought in you that maybe you should have a look at it, or that what I'm saying is making sense?
I feel like the water stuff, like you say, water can't bend.
A standing body of water can't bend. No.
Yeah. Okay. So it's different. So like when water is displaced across a spherical object like the Earth, what I think the Earth is.
Yeah.
And it's held down by gravitational force, then it's not necessarily bending in the way that, say, you could bend water if you had it in front of you and you splashed it or something, or like tried to curve it somehow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So if we go back to the scientific method and natural physics again, what you've just described to me, I understand as an explanation. Now, if I was to ask you, could you practically demonstrate that assertion or that assumption to me? Could you?
No, I probably couldn't. Like,
you couldn't?
No.
So
I think that, like, probably, there are a lot of things that we are lied to about. For me, this is just one of the things that I don't think is plausible. I think that we are lied to about many things, and that there are reasons that we are lied to about things.
Could I offer you a possibility of, psychologically, of maybe why we have that in place? As human beings, we're very, very curious. If I was to surround you with a perimeter fence, you as a human being would see that perimeter fence and see it as a boundary and want to get beyond that to discover what was there. Now, on a ball, that is like a fence around you, but it's in your mind, because in your mind everything's been discovered. There is nowhere to go, there is nothing else. But for me, there's a possibility that laterally there is something else, and there's areas that we are restricted from freely accessing. Now I'm curious as to what's actually happening there. So I can see reasons for why lies would be told, especially if there's other resources that would be beneficial to, powers that be that want to, have that for their own benefit. You understand that humans are like that, they're greedy. They want to maintain things for themselves. So I think there's a very possibility of an avenue we could pursue in regards to psychology of why that lie would be told. But mainly I just wanted to capture your honest response, sir, and I really appreciate your time and giving me that, and I hope that you'll be one of these people who would advocate that we have an investigation properly, without ridicule and without preconceived ideas and notions of people like myself who want to inquire into the nature of our very existence, you know. So I very, very much appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir. You too, buddy. Thanks.